everyone. I'm Will Cabral, snowboard expert from Curated.com.
And I'm Mike Layton, snowboard expert from Curated.com.
Today, we're doing a head-to-head, pitting the K2 Alchemist against the Never Summer Valhalla.
We're going to be pitting them against each other in 3 different categories: carving, freestyle, and freeride. So you can figure out which board is best for you.
Just so you know, we are not sponsored by any of these brands.
And all of our reviews are completely unbiased.
So K2 claims the Alchemist is a hard-charging directional freeride board for the skilled ride.
And Never Summer has the Valhalla listed as a setback directional freeride board with a unique bat tail shape and 7 millimeters of taper to keep you floating through the deep snow and hard charging on everything else. We had a lot of fun on these boards.
Oh yeah.
And we got to ride a lot of different terrain. We rode everything from groomers to steeper hard pack stuff. Moguls, got in some fresh snow. How did you feel the Alchemist was in terms of carving?
This is a board that has, the space glass up in the nose, a little bit of weight saving, but also reduces the chatter. It's got predominantly camber where you're standing and then this huge rocker nose. And it really initiates turns so well. That rocker nose just wants to get you on edge and you can really lay into these carves. So absolute rocket. It'll get on edge quick and it'll plow through everything. What'd you think of the Never Summer?
So the Never Summer is tip-to-tail carbon on it. They rated it an 8.5 out of 10 flex. I honestly felt it was so damp. I didn't get a lot of energy return. I felt that a lot on the Alchemist, but with the Valhalla, I felt once I got it up on edge, as long as my legs could handle it, it would keep powering through the turn. So once that thing is on edge, I really felt it held a really solid carved edge. Did you notice a big difference in the dampness between the Alchemist and the Valhalla?
Absolutely. The Alchemist is definitely a little bit more lively in my opinion. When you're riding a full camber board or predominantly camber board and you have liveliness, it wants to kind of pop you in and out of turns, lay really hard onto that toe side edge, it'll just pop you over to the other side.
Yeah. Well, I think my comparison was, it's kind of like Valhalla in terms of carving and turning. It's a freight train. I think the Alchemist is a little bit more like the roller coaster. You're still on rails, but there's a lot of bumps and a lot of energy in there. So for me, I think I like the way the Valhalla feels for carving. What about you? What's your pick for carving?
Yeah, I felt like both these boards are sensational at carving. The feel that I like is with the Alchemist, having that little bit more lively feel.
What about on the freestyle sense? I know both boards are predominantly more built with freeride in mind.
I think that riding switch on both of these boards has somewhat of a similar feel with a bigger nose. It's kind of fun to just switch it up, literally, go switch. And then you feel kind of that bigger nose kind of in the back, just like always there. In terms of pop, I felt like the Alchemist was the clear winner. There were some rollers that I came up on and I wanted to send up and off them. And the Valhalla was just like, nope, we're going to cruise through. So definitely felt the dampness there. I would give the pop kind of category more to the Alchemist.
I'm going to agree with you on that. The Valhalla, honestly, for me, it feels so damp. You have to put so much energy to really generate, the same amount of return that you would get on the Alchemist. The Alchemist, you go to ollie it, you're ollieing over things already and you're going a little bit higher. In terms of switch, obviously neither is going to be ideal. That unique back tail on the Valhalla, I'm not really looking forward to landing switch on anything, whereas I think you can muscle it through on the Alchemist. If you're going through the jump line, I would much rather be on the Alchemist. We've seen some pretty crazy things come out from the K2 guys on the Alchemist. So for me, freestyle overall, I'm gonna have to go with the Alchemist.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. There's some kind of pros and cons here, but in terms of freestyle and playing kind of that more traditional freestyle kind of thought process there, I think the Alchemist is the winner for me.
So we agree on the Alchemist for freestyle. Moving on to the last category, these 2 boards are very different with similar riders in mind. In terms of free riding, how did you feel on the Valhalla playing around in kind of those rollery pillows?
Yeah, doing some free riding on the Valhalla, I really enjoyed how it felt, and we got through some fresher snow and it was able to power through that and cruise through the powder there. It's a board that, with the dampness, I would appreciate getting into really steep lines with trees with moguls in it. I felt like it handled and maneuvered pretty well through all of that kind of uneven terrain and the obstacles. as we went steeper and steeper. You know, I liked the Alchemist, but it's one of those things that the rider needs to be a little bit more precise on to keep yourself away from those hazards. And I felt like the Valhalla maybe supported kind of being able to be in that tougher terrain a little better. What'd you think of the two?
You know, the first time I got on the Valhalla, I was coming off really round, some turns in there, and I got into some steeper snow, and with that 8.5 out of 10 flex and how damp it was, I wasn't really sure how it was gonna feel once we got into some steeper moguls. And it just snaps around really easily, you know, around moguls. That said, I really also like in terms of that energy return from the Alchemist, it allows a little bit more of a playful and precise ride. You don't have to put as much energy into it. I totally agree with you though. The Alchemist is not a board you can take a day off on. When you're on that board, you're engaged, you're locked in. I think you can kind of relax and have a chiller day on the Valhalla. Don't get me wrong, the Valhalla can still charge. For me personally, I'm going to take the Alchemist for Freeride.
For me in Freeride, I think I'm going to go with Valhalla. I liked kind of the smoothness and the board kind of supporting and helping a rider get through even tougher and tougher terrain. I thought it really would support, you know, a free rider to up their game.
So overall, for your riding style, what would you choose? You could only take one.
If I could only take one, I think I would go with the Alchemist. You know, for me and my riding style, the Valhalla was maybe a little bit too damp. You know, I definitely appreciated the triple camber. It was able to hold edges, but I want the liveliness of the Alchemist. And for me, kind of going off rollers on the Valhalla was a little underwhelming. I want the crazy and lively board.
I mean, I'm going to agree with you. For my riding style, the Alchemist is a better fit overall. I am someone that really likes dropping off things, popping off things, finding side hits, and trying to go as big and fast as possible. And I think that kind of aligns with the Alchemist's ethos a little bit better. So we know that different snowboards work differently for different types of riders. Reach out to myself, Will, or one of our fellow Curated experts, and we'll be sure to get you set up.
If you like this video, make sure to click the subscribe button so you can see more content from Curated. And if you want to give us some feedback on what you want to see for the next head-to-head episode, drop a comment in the section below and we'll make sure to take a look.